We're historical reenactors as a family, and we really think that being part of history is a way of getting connected with the past. And so we'll do First Fleet, we'll also do First World War, and this being the commemorative year, it's really important that we make a connection with the past and the people who lived through those times. And the best way of doing that, in my view, is to be in touch with the items, the song, the poetry, the music, the uniforms. All of that comes together to form a real connection with the past, which is absolutely essential for historical imagination to come alive. And that's why we're here.
Excellent. And John, what uniform are you wearing?
I'm wearing a uniform of an infantryman from the Australian Imperial Forces. That's the AIF, the 1st AIF, 1st Battalion. And this is the uniform that the Australians wore throughout World War I. The coat is very similar to the coat that they would have worn in World War II as well. So the slouch hat, which became so iconic of the Australian infantrymen, really comes from this period.
Oh, it's great fun just doing historical reenactment, and this is a period that we hadn't really done before, but it's great. Alex was doing some World War I stuff as part of his HSC, and it sort of coincided nicely with the beginning of the Kangaroo March. We sing anyway as a choir, or as a family, so singing, joining the choir, combining history and the music, it was fantastic.
I love history anyway, and singing is also a passion of mine. So it brought the two together beautifully, and it was just great opportunities.
My connection with this particular period is particularly significant for me. A couple of years ago in 2012, I was the recipient of a New South Wales Anzac Memorial Scholarship, which sent me overseas to look at the battlefields where so many Australians fought and died. So for me, upon returning, this period is so much more important. It's steeped in history, it's steeped in feeling, it's steeped in emotion. So combining that with my historical reenactment that we do as a family, it was particularly important to me to help promote the Anzac message, to help make sure that people do remember, to help make sure that people don't forget the sacrifice and the terrible times that did happen. So that's why I'm here singing as part of the choir and dressed as I am. I'm dressed in a British uniform myself as part of the Royal Irish Rifles, and this uniform is the same uniform that would have been worn by my great-grandfather who fought in the First World War, and whilst he wasn't part of the Anzacs, he did fight alongside them in Egypt, Greece and the Middle East. So this uniform does contrast slightly to the Australian one. It's slightly different material, slightly different hat, and the Royal Irish Rifles name badge on the shoulder.
And you're wearing your...
And I am wearing the medals of my great-grandfather, which are the 3 service medals of the Great War.
And that was the nice family connection too, because we did have that family connection with John's grandfather, that we'd actually done some family research on him, and then about his involvement in World War I, because he was actually in World War I right through from 14 to 18. And so it was really then fantastic to do, I suppose, the research within the family history, and then put it together with all the extra things that we've been learning about, you know, with the commemoration of the Anzacs and so on. So yeah, very meaningful actually.
And his service with the Australians, I think, was an important factor in him deciding to come to Australia in 1922. So those little connections where paths cross has landed us in this country, as opposed to being born, bred and raised in somebody else's country. So that's made us Australian, and that connection was really important for them. And once they came out here, they never went back to Ireland, and they became thoroughly Australian and steeped in the traditions and the values of this country.